Hello, 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 welcome. Yeah, let's go right into it, I guess. Um, so I wanted to test if the shader stage reloading works. For that, I think the easiest one would be, first of all, looking where that is everywhere included and probably removing it. That would be, I think, the smartest thing to do. What the hell? Debug. I mean, nah, let's leave it. Let's do it different. Oh wait, that's templates. That's even not what we want anyways. Never mind. That we can delete for now. Or let's bring back our volume shader. I think that's pretty straightforward by just changing our app config. I think we just changed this to project. Is that it? Or maybe not. Oh, Irrlicht probably. Yeah. That should hopefully still work. So our plan is finishing the shader cache because that would enable us to do real-time editing. Okay, yeah, that works perfect. And then if we get here and let's say, which one can we change? I think the most sense actually might make print. Let's remove that here. Okay, render terrain brush. Why is the stage hash empty? Are we not? No. Hmm. Maybe I want to put in the entry there. Four two eight, 428. That one is still valid. 133. But I guess, yeah, that one is not the same. So let's hope that that works. Unfortunate. So if the shader already exists, right? What do we do then? No, but shouldn't that be valid? So shader stages. Okay, that looks fine. Does it not look fine? Two, two, four. I mean, why would that not be fine? Oh, why do we have two? Hmm. Do I have... Maybe we look for that, right? So std find if auto work on stage. like that, and if we don't do iterator equals, yeah, equals, and then we do that as we do this. Yeah. So I think that should do it. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, looks fine. Okay. So I think that works, and then I think we should not get here at all after this one. Or actually even after here. Perfect. So I think the shader cache is working. I think what I want to do as well is... Oh, that's not all, right? Yeah, that's not everything yet. For the shader cache, actually. It's almost everything that we need, but... a couple more things. So there is this part where we have a hot reload. Which I'm not quite sure how to do. But I guess we will find out. And then... so that's one piece of the puzzle that's still missing, the hot reload, and... there was one thing more on my mind. Oh yeah, the asset, right? Because currently we don't really do it with the asset system. So what I thought is we serialize. Which we actually don't do anything. I think. Shaders are not saved. I think that's fine. And then the deserializer, that one actually exists. So basically we do radar. And I do think that is basically text, yeah. Actually, maybe we just do get shader. That gives me a shader handy. Yeah, I mean, but that's basically the same thing. So might as well do. Might as well just do that. And probably everywhere else. We don't do the get shader thing. But can we get rid of that? So here we don't really have access to the And maybe we leave it. No, that's a bigger change, right? So actually we might be busy with that today. Changing the shader to be loaded on demand. That might actually be a bigger thing. But probably worth it because we would load them then off the main thread, which would be a good thing. Probably we should do that. Shader. Okay. One way would be to pass in the graphics API here. But another one would be actually I mean, here I don't think we have access to the asset system here. I mean, we can have it. I think this is just called from graphics API, right? Yeah. So we could have a pointer here. Is that the smartest thing to do though? Probably not. I mean, actually, hold on the render graph loaded. I mean, we could give the... Hold on, how does that work again? Can't we? I think the most sense would make that this is an asset ID, right? And technically it is an asset ID already. Kinda tired today. Okay, let's assume that is an asset ID. What would that help us? Not a lot. We still need to call the get shader eventually, right? But in here we could pass in the asset system, which might make sense because we might want to load some textures potentially here. So maybe that's not such a bad idea to put the asset system in there. And then here, okay, that one is simple, right? Because here we can just say asset system get asset of that. in that case, maybe the old path here was quite a bit better. Maybe actually making it into an asset is not the smartest thing. Although technically, why would I not make it an asset? It's basically behaving exactly the same as an asset. So it would benefit quite a lot from it. I think the most interesting to change though would be the one in the render graph task here. So let's try that. So here, asset system. All right. Where? Wait, where is that card from? I do think that Rendog of Realizer should Or actually, if that fails, otherwise. What does the init do? Already prepares everything, so kind of makes sense to do that one off. Maybe. Where would you want to instantiate a abstract one? Does it need to be like that? Don't think it will work if I do that. Why do I even have the API? Ah, because of the device, okay. Don't think this will work. Yeah, that's what I thought. The question is, where does it fail? Ah, shader serializer. Does it even end up here? No. The shader is valid. I guess the shader is still loading, right? Yeah. Where is the compiler card from? And the init. Hmm. pH shader effect. Is that really a thing that I need? I mean, kinda. Sad. Doesn't really work. Guess what we could do is oops, something along those lines maybe might work. Probably that would work, but is it the cleanest? Probably not. But let's get it up and running again and then see what else we need to do. Others? Oh, whatever. Oops. Okay. Why would you be running? Isn't it that you're not a valid thing yet? Triangle graph shader node. Static mesh. It has a depth attachment, but the depth target is empty. Why would the depth target be empty? Frame buffer. Hmm. Do we not call that? Beforehand? Okay. That one has a depth target. That's bizarre. I mean, that's the one that I would have not thought would fail at all. Somehow it fails. And I'm not quite sure why. think my headset is out of battery. So, that is this one. I can share it, I guess. So from Chrono Trigger. And hello, hello. No problem. What is going on? Why is that failing? That is the weirdest render graph node to fail based on the changes that I did in my mind. Because that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Thank you. It's getting there, it's getting there. I mean, you could already do a game, I think, in it, but you need to do a lot of stuff yourself if you want to do it. But in a couple of versions, I think it's ready that someone could do a game without too much knowledge, hopefully, of programming, but let's see. It is already, kinda. I mean, it technically doesn't qualify, I think, as open source because the license is it's prohibiting you from doing something commercial currently, but as it says in the readme, if you want to do it, just contact me and we can talk about it. It's not like I want to prevent you from doing something. It's more a security thing and like covering my bases, more or less. And yeah, currently I'm working on the 0.4 version, which will have volumetric terrain in it. So basically like voxels, and we are pretty much done already. It's the last couple bits and pieces of polishing and performance improvements before I move the version up and commit it to the main branch. But right now I have an issue which I'm not quite sure where it's coming from. Alright, that's fair, but I mean, yeah, C++ is quite difficult in the form of the syntax, I would say. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same as any other programming language. The syntax is just really weird. What is it even trying to do? It tries to get a depth target that doesn't exist yet. But how come the depth target doesn't exist? Hold on. Maybe it's because... No, but the graphics API, it should already have the depth images, yeah. So when we render, Shouldn't that be here? Shouldn't we be hitting that and then have a depth target? Yeah. Okay. Shouldn't that be handling that? Oh, that's so weird. Let's do something stupid here. Update frame buffer. God damn it. That shouldn't be the case, but let's see if we get it to run with that. If it still crashes, then that's still bizarre. It does. I think we are still a static mesh render graph node. Okay. So let's go in there and see what's going on. That's the input pins. Type invalid. Type attachment. Sky, that's fine. Hot pin. That's the depth target. That one is invalid. Is that not running or what? Guess it's not running. Why would you not run that one? That one is run, right? Okay, yeah. But then this one is not run because... Oh, because the shader effect is probably not valid. I see. Probably that should propagate down, right? If one node is disabled, it should probably not do the others. I mean, another would be depth. The vendor task. Guess we could do that. That should hopefully do it, that we have a valid depth image. At least. What? Ah. I think that's because GUI task stuff does some things that we would need to do, right? I think we might be able to just do that in ImGUI system. After here, we can do this. For now. I mean, maybe not. What does it die on? I do that. I think we have an end frame here, right? Yeah. that not card? Nah, that's not what I wanted. In-GUI system. Okay. Yeah, GUI task. Cool, that one is not card. Why? Is it that we shader effect? Well, not shader effect, sorry. UI task is probably, yeah, a fixed shader node exactly. So what is the shader path here? Okay. Is it the full asset path? Okay. I mean, probably shader serial lines are probably the issue is this assignment operator here. And the graph task. Graphics API, what the hell? Begin frame. Oh, wait, that makes kinda sense. Yeah. How would I solve that? Because I don't think I can. Give it a different type. I mean, I guess we would want to wait here. What do I do with that actually? Properties. I mean, here I need the shader, right? Already. Yeah. God damn it, why is it so weird? Okay, whatever. Hmm. How would I solve that? Because I need to wait for all the shaders to be loaded. In this case, which is not ideal. I mean, I guess the easy way out for now would be return true here. Why is it complaining here now? Oh, because I'm stupid. Holy shit. That was crazy. Didn't see that before, that it dies so easily just by compiling. But okay. I'm not sure what the side effect of that might be. That might now die a little bit. But let's see. Probably the render graph would need a little bit more logic for everything to work. Yeah. Maybe we always call... Maybe we always call the begin frame. Right? Do we always call that? We never call that. We always call end frame. But yeah, if the node is not enabled, we don't do the render stuff. That might work. Is it the best thing to do? Probably not. Okay. Oh well. That's the part that's like not very good about that whole thing. But shouldn't I be... Vulkan shader is still loading. Hi. No I don't. I don't use RTTI, and exceptions I have disabled as well, as far as I remember. Do we enter this ever? We don't. Because if I remember correctly, well, the exceptions I have turned on because of some Visual Studio shenanigans with the STD library. But they should be off, but it's like for Visual Studio and MSVC you have to turn them on so that the standard library compiles for some reason. It's a weird thing. But RTTI is off for sure. And then the standard library thing, where is it? It's a build flag here somewhere. Let me try to find it. I think it's this here. /EH/SCH. And you have to enable that so that it compiles for some weird reason. Yeah, I've read that one time ago or a long time ago. I don't know. There is some weird stuff that I had to do that, like, I had to turn it on for some weird reason. Even though I'm not using exceptions, there was like a code path in the standard MSVC implementation that used exceptions for some reason, and I couldn't get rid of it. Can't remember anymore. It's very long time ago. But we might reconsider that and look at this with... Now that I switch to 23, maybe I can turn it off again, I don't know. Shader serializer. Can I do here? Although shouldn't that exist asset set? Does that work? But isn't... Okay. I mean, doesn't get better than that. Create light clusters. Okay. The API is null. It's basically an empty object, right? Yeah. So I guess that doesn't work. But why would that not work? Shouldn't that as well work? I am confused. Yeah, that looks all valid. Then why is it here? Get asset. Damn it. No, I'm not quite following that. Can I do that? No. Something's going on here with the references. It's not quite right. I mean, I guess what we could try is M shader on loaded event connect. Is it this? No. Okay. Okay, reference shader. Isn't it that? What? God damn it, stop it. Ah, it's a... Okay. Cool. What if we go to shader serializer? Don't do that. Just do that and do the rest. Does that then... that actually returns it, okay. So yeah, we are overriding somehow the shader, which is not good, okay. Can I do API here? Does that work? I mean, that would be awesome if that works. That's what I thought. That's what I thought, that this doesn't really work. But it would be nice if we can get that to work. But let's first get the other stuff to work. So shader serializer. Do I have to rewrite that? Hello, lullaby. So I think what we will do is I will kill this overload probably. Or do I not kill that overload? It's okay. Got a little bit of a problem with the shader cache and shader references now that I wanted to change it to an asset. So I need to rethink the shader a little bit. Because currently we get this case here where we are just a black screen. Because we are not loading the shader correctly. But that's, I mean, moving it to the asset system has a couple of benefits. First of all, we get the asset reloading out of the box, like the hot reloading. And it has as well the benefit that it's automatically on a separate thread. So we get it loaded, everything, but that is, yeah, that's not a valid shader, right? Yeah, so it will crash now, yeah. And I can't do this here because for some reason that completely kills But why is it a move? Why is that a move and not a... Oh, because it's a shader handle like that. But even then, shouldn't that be perfectly fine? Ref count 2, which makes sense because we have 1 in the... That handle is valid. And we set that to loaded. Fascinating. But this one is then not... But we are not copying, are we? I mean, kinda we are. Probably this is not valid as well in the asset system. Not sure where I would verify that, but probably the shader is not valid in the asset system as well. I mean, actually we can probably see that. Ah, shit. Shader serializer. Put the breakpoint here. Okay. Yeah. 1F0. That doesn't exist here. But why? Wait, why? I think that's a problem here. We get 9860. Which is this entry. But it doesn't update that entry. Why? I mean, even if... Okay, that's fair. I think I know what's going on. Okay. That's a bit of a problem. Okay. Hmm. Can I somehow... Maybe I need to do... I think the best would be that this takes a shader in. Something like that, probably. And then let's do shader handle here. Alright, and then what we need to do is... Nothing like that. Hold on, what is it doing? Oh yeah, okay. Then this just returns true, that's fine. Does that work? Hold on, does that even work what I'm doing here? No, probably not. 'Cause there's a lot of... I mean, technically that should be the case, what it should be. But... that one would be... That doesn't help us at all, I think. I think that is exactly the same problem as before. Don't think that this does anything. I think that has the same exact problem, just moved further down. Yeah, and then this has all of the negatives of that. God damn it. Okay, let's go back and rethink that. So what I actually want to do is... probably stare that. So the problem is that we are reassigning, or like, that the asset system creates one instance of the shader, and then the serializer basically creates a new one and overrides it, and then the reference count, that object is a different one than the one where it was requested. So this one points to a different object than the one we actually loaded. Which is not ideal, to say the least. So the question is, how can I fix that in a nice way? Because the asset system will create a new asset every time we call get asset and it's not loaded. There's no way around that. So what we should probably do is deal with that and then forward here the reference, forward here. Or do we even need that in this case here? Yeah, I mean that's maybe fine. No, actually, we might not need that. What we can do is graphics API get shader cache. Get a load shader. With that and shader handle. Then that one would be, let's change that again. So we do that. But then out shader is that. That's fair. But we don't do that probably. Because we assume that we already get one. Maybe do that. And we always do that. And hold on. What do we need that for? Oh, I mean, okay. In that case, we probably can get rid of a lot of stuff here. Work on API. And here as well, graphics API. Like that, and that works. And then this one goes away. That one goes away. Now this one is still fine because we can still store the API here. For those. Update reflection data. Or we can give it the graphics API here. It might even be that this can be const, but I'm not sure. Just we. No, it's fine. I guess we can do that. Quite a lot of changes here and there, but that should be better. Let's see where we fail with that. Probably in a bunch of places. I think I want to kill that whole API here actually. What can I say? God damn it. Stage, API, shader, stage. I mean, basically that would be... Oh, we have the asset system here already, perfect. Okay, wait, what? Load shaders. Oh, we have the assets, perfect. Asset system. Okay, why we need to not do that for now? We don't load any shaders. Because that is not that straightforward, so let's not do that. Reprocess shader. Yeah, I think that will be a fire path again. Or actually, we don't need that done, right? Ta-da! It's a panel. Alright, we need to most likely... Actually, maybe I did it wrong. No, let's not let's not think of it too complicated. But let's not do that for now as well. That's a lot of crap. That is actually a bigger change than I thought it would be. God damn it. Let's see if that even works at all. Where are we dying here? Oh, where? That should work. Create shader. I think we can kill that. Probably. Or maybe that's not even correct what I'm doing here. Hold on. No, I think it's fine to do it like that. But I'm not sure. It's a little bit questionable. Here, this create shader needs to go away. Yeah, I think I know what I want to do. Yeah. Come on. Stop it. I think I have an idea how I want it in the end. But let's see if that first works. Damn it, what? Oh. And that one we can kill. Isn't that a thing that I can do? It's like that, maybe? I mean, maybe. Asset. Okay, maybe not. Maybe that is valid. Oh, but that entry is invalid. Okay. Okay. We're back. Nice. Alright. So that works. But that's probably, as I said, not exactly how I wanted. Hello, Captain Chica. So that should give us now asset reloading on the shaders. But I think what I want is actually not that. I think what I want is graphics API to give me a shader effect. Or a shader instance, probably. Maybe we rename it, but yeah. So what we want is... where is it? Yeah, graphics API. Basically, I want to be able to call this but probably here instead of a reference shader. I actually have a render ID or like a shader ID. The render path, is that even used? Ah, yeah, we do use that, right? Yeah. Although they are kinda useless. Ah, maybe not. Yeah. But it could be render path settings instead. instead of the actual render pass here. I think we will do that. So probably the end interface I want to have something like graphics API. Create shader instance. And then this is an asset shader ID. Probably the properties, right? And the properties would be this part more or less. And the shader ID would be this one, the replacement for that one. And it would not be valid right away. It would basically be loading in the background. And then the shader effect itself has a is ready or whatever. I mean, it kinda has that information already, right? Basically, it would check that those two are valid, and once they are valid, it is valid to be used. But that's a big change. But I think it's needed for the volumetric stuff to work flawlessly with the shader graph reloading. But that will be a couple more days of work. But I think there is no way around that. So basically what I was saying is that I want here an asset ID shader asset. That one is fairly small, right? Yeah. So we can copy that around. And then this would be that. Or we can do shader asset ID, I guess. To be a little bit more specific. Now we are not allowed to do that yet. So basically what we do is not even that, right? Why do we have a create function here? Where is the create function even? Ah, it's a ref counted thing, that's why, okay. Okay, so we want the graphics API and then not this, but the pipeline properties. And an assets. Or maybe not like that. Wait. Let me think again. We could probably do that already, right? We could create the pipeline. But most likely not core that, right? So we would make bool in it with reference, well, with a shader handle basically. Probably const. That one is 0, I guess. Wait. Isn't that extended? It is, right? So virtual. Well, it is anyways virtual, I guess. Never mind, because the ref counted is already virtual. Just missed that. Then we have pipeline here. Basically becomes that. I mean, could we not do it like that? Probably. Yeah, I think. I think that makes more sense, because then we can be sure that it's not the null pointer as well. Like a null reference, not a null pointer. Alright, so that, and then shader get... Well, we need to then do Vulkan shader. Ah, const. Properties. Eh. Wait, why would that be? Not accessible, doesn't make any sense. Okay. Probably we could give the graphics API here. I mean, we could as well just store it, I guess. Make unique shader. I mean, maybe we leave all as is. Hold on, maybe we leave everything as is. The only thing we do different is the point where we call the whole thing. Shader or graphics API. So basically, what we would want to do is probably graphics API. Void on shader loaded. Do I need that? Actually, probably not. Hold on. Because we need the graphics API anyways at the end here. Can I do something like assume we have the asset system here? Do I want the asset system here? Maybe not. Let's do it for now like that. I don't think I will leave it like that, but so what I would try to do is get asset But the thing is, we can't really connect anything meaningful here. Because my unloaded event doesn't support a payload. Which would make everything a little bit simpler. All a little bit stupid. This was not built with the asset system in mind, you can clearly see that. I wonder if I can make... Can I? Yeah, that doesn't really work, right? I mean, it would be nice if that works. Shader. I don't think that will work, right? That won't work, right? That will not compile. Oh yeah, that doesn't exist, of course. That would be asset system. And then shader path as an asset ID. I think I still want the old one, just in case. So that this just works, right? That the old ones don't complain. Yeah, I think... Oh, okay, maybe not. What? Oh. That one is a reference pipeline, right? Yeah. Ah, const. Yeah, I think it's still the same. Or it now fails with the callback. Yeah. Which is weird, because why would that fail? Unfortunate. I think I want to extend that so that this is supported. Because otherwise, it's really ugly. Or at least that a lambda is supported. Can I do a lambda? Probably not, but it's worth a try, right? Eh, where is my... unloaded. Oh, there it is. Not sure why that wasn't a thing. Would that work? What the hell? How did I break that now? Is that not... Wait, what? Compiling shader preprocessor. What? What did I do? Okay, not that. That looks fine. Is it maybe that shader effect that I fucked a little bit? Probably. Probably it was that. Internal compile error. Cool. Rebuild. I will get the coffee. Be right back. While that compiles. Yay! More stuff that breaks. What? Whatever. Let's recompile and see what the actual... Oh, wait, there is an error here. Stop it. Eh? Oh, here, okay. I mean, maybe asset. Or what is the connect? Or the unloaded event? It's an asset T, but that should work. Right? Value or instance. But I guess it doesn't like that because... I don't think it's this, right? No. I guess I cannot connect the lambda. Very sad. Question is, could I make it work to connect the lambda here? Probably somehow, but that is like really beyond my capabilities today with that complex template stuff. But I think I don't really have a way around that. I think I need that. Maybe I call it a day for today, but because I'm super tired today. Was a not a rough weekend, but a lot that we did. It was anniversary for me and my fiance. So probably we'll be back on Wednesday. Oh, well, we will be back on Wednesday. I need to stick to the schedule. Yeah, tomorrow there's a day off as usual. I have to think that through how to do that with the shader effect. But basically what I wrote down there in... Was it here? Yeah. That should be the syntax I want. And then internally everything is handled. Which probably means the graphics API will have a reference to the asset system, which is probably not too bad. Might as well be graphics system. We might as well do it here actually. Have the graphics system have a reference to the asset system. Because it needs it anyways. So might as well store it here. And I would say graphic system create. Yeah, maybe. This one we need to as well figure out. Because that's not what we would want. Should not register Vulkan. Why is it even that I do that? Why do I do the asset IT? Ah, because of that. And then shader has that, right? Yeah. But that's one thing. But then where do we use that? It's used here. Where we don't really need it. And then it's used here, where we don't need it. Why is it even used? Why don't we even use it then? Oh, here, but even here, it's useless. Can I remove that? Can I remove that altogether? Would be that would be that. Well, I mean, we would probably still want to assert here to not double register. But maybe not, I don't know. And then here that would be make unique of t. In the where is the create funct used? Oh, here. Where? Reference of t create. Right? And then here as well, that goes away. Would be this. That would be this. Do we need it anywhere else? That is fair. So that's still something that I don't exactly know how to do yet, but damn. I'm not sure why that even... I mean, didn't you do that before already? But okay. I would have assumed you were already 3 streams in a row before. Whatever. I mean, maybe we need to register it like that. Maybe we still keep the register because it allows us, yeah, to register different types, like this one. Then again, I'm not sure if we will ever support a different shader, like a graphics API, but whatever. So maybe that's a issue that I don't really need to bother. But yeah, I can't really think anymore today to solve the problem with the asset system and the shaders, so we will call it a day. I will be back on Wednesday and I will... Okay. So I will be back on Wednesday. And I will tomorrow think about how I would want to realize that stuff with the shader effect and hot reloading. We are almost there. Almost, but there is a bits of pieces that are not working quite as I would want them. So we have to address those. And yeah. Then we go from there. So yeah, thank you very much for joining today. A little bit shorter stream today. Next Monday will be fine again and will be normal again and like a long stream on Monday, but yeah, somehow not feeling it today. Yeah, thank you. Have a nice rest of your Monday. Let's see if we can raid someone. Actually not a lot of people here. Game dev, no filter. Actually, there is not really anything going on Twitch right now, so we won't raid anyone. Thank you very much. Have a nice rest of your evening. See you hopefully on Wednesday. Bye bye.